Hi there. So I haven't made a video in quite a while, so I figured I'd make a video, show you guys something neat that I'm making. I've been doing a lot of different work on the cars, but I think there's a lot of videos out there, people doing stuff. They're doing all the same stuff, and it looks great. They're doing an awesome job, and I don't think I really have much to add to it, but kind of update on where I'm at. My red 1500 was having problems with it, so basically pulled the whole engine out and everything else. And so I've got over here, I was timing the engine the other day. I got down here, I got all sorts of parts, got some gaskets, redid the seals in the transmission. I'll talk about that probably in another video, just so I've got kind of like video record of what I've been doing and how the car looks. But one of the custom things that I'm doing to it, well, I got a couple of custom things. One of them I've got, let me come over here, might talk about this later. Made a airbox, K&N filter. So that should help it to breathe better. I'll talk more about why later on, but the stock airbox basically just wasn't doing it. So coming over this ways, I'll show you what I've got happening. So the LeMans Spitfires, they had these cool side grills that help the air breathe better underneath the hood. So what I'm doing with this rebuild is trying to maximize airflow as well too, which is why the air filter. And then when I've been driving down the road, I noticed that the hood kind of bumps up a little bit, so there's like this pressure from underneath it, and so that'll help relieve the pressure, help get the hot air out, cooler air, all the good stuff. So what I've been doing is I've got an old hood that came with my Spitfire that's rusted out. It's toast, but there's a lot of really good metal on there. And I'm saving that for all sorts of projects that I can use the metal for, because there's free metal, it's already the right gauge. And I'll come over here, it's around. Here's what I've got. And so this is, with the hood, this is the side of the hood where the vents would go. So it's already the same contour, crown, everything fits just right. So that's what we're going to be using for there. And if we come on over here to the workbench, I went to the Spitfire restoration Facebook group. I can't remember the exact name right now. And if you go in the files sections, they've got these templates, which are totally awesome. You can print out. And so here's the first one. It's a little bit humid, so paper's doing stuff. And so put it together, cut it out, and this is the shape, and this is what goes on the car. And so I followed all the instructions. So this lines up with the edge of the bonnet, and this lines up with the seam. This is specifically one for the 1500s. And so what I did, and I'd used a different piece of paper for this one, is I cut it out, I set it on there, and I made sure I had enough room on the inside, because what I'm going to do is have what you saw in the middle over there is going to be a bracket that goes on the inside. I'll explain how that works in just a bit. I'll show you later when I do other follow-up videos to make this a much bigger video so it all makes sense, it's cohesive. So put that up on the car and traced around and gave myself this nice lip so that I could see where I had clearance on the inside. So the seam up at the top didn't come up to about right here, and then I had just a little bit above the seam down here. And so this is what you saw traced out on the metal over there. So I'm going to cut that out, and that's going to be my mounting bracket. And then I've got, let me explain how that's going to go. So we'll pretend this piece of paper here is a piece of metal, and it's curved. And so I'm going to, hey, I got them right here. Got these machine screws that are going to go, they're going to be welded on the back side here. And then this is going to be attached to the inside of the bonnet with panel bond. So I don't have to worry about welding. And then I'm going to be cutting out, I'll show you how I'm going to do that, try to hopefully not mess the paint up much, but it needs a new paint job, so I'm okay with, you know, some chips and whatnot, because it's like that already. So I'll have my, what is it called? The part that mounts to the inside of the car, the screws, and then I've got this here, which is basically the outer, I guess you wouldn't call it circumference or diameter, whatever, the outside of it, here, and this is going to lay on top of this here. And so this is a grill from, I got this Rimmer Brothers for like $6.50, like a Triumph Toledo or a T2000 or something like that, I believe. And so I'm gonna put it on here, cut it out, because I'm just looking for this section right here. And I was hoping this was gonna be aluminum, but it's plastic, but I think that'll still work. Okay, so I got the piece here that I need. I'll cut these mounting pieces off, and then you'll see the screws will come up through here where it attaches to, or through here, we'll see how it goes, where it attaches to that piece of there, which is really part of that piece there. So you can see, and I got them labeled and so forth for cutting out. So the screw comes over, and I'll put a little flat bracket here that it screws through, lock nut on top of there, and there we have it. So once the bracket with the grill is made, then, and I know everything's going to be good, and before I weld the stuff, I'm going to make sure it fits on the inside, all the things. Let's turn around and we'll look at each other while we talk. And once I've got that, then I'll take this final template, put it on the side of the car. What my thinking is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a whole bunch of painter's tape, you know, just like a sheet of painter's tape on there, and then Sharpie the template, and then really carefully with the cutting wheel cut out, and I'll be cutting through the tape, so the tape should theoretically, hopefully, keep any kind of like chipping of the paint and stuff like that to like a bare minimum. So ideally it'll look like there's just a hole there and the paint's just fine, but we'll kind of see how that goes. And hopefully I won't be deleting this video later because I hope I haven't messed it up. But again, I'm not worried about the paint job so much right now. And there's the question, okay, you got these metal edges, where are they going to rust? Or they're going to rust. So what I'm going to do is the brackets, once I get the hole, clamp those in with the panel bond in there, let that sit however it needs to go, and then just attach the grill. Easy for that. But before I attach the grill, I got to worry about rusting. So I'll come in there and like clean it up. The camera's here, and I'm looking here because it's where I can see. But sorry, I'll try to look here, not see myself. I'll file that, smooth that, so there's no, I don't know, it's nice and smooth, it looks good, and there's no sharp edges. And then before I remove all of the tape, what I plan to do is hit that with a little bit of aerosol clear coat. And so that clear coat will help just basically seal the metal and keep the rust from forming there. And so we're going to see how that, there we go. We're going to see how that goes. So that's what I got planned. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some stuff so to not bother you with my working, and then come back and have some updates. Hey, this is what this looks, and so forth, and so forth. So there we have it. Wish me luck. All right, so it's a few days, probably more later. Been picking at different various things and decided to get back to the hood vents again. So thought here's a little bit of an update of where things are. I went ahead and did some work so you didn't see me make all sorts of mistakes and whatnot on camera. But so I got grill for one side, here's the other side. And so what I did is, this is plastic. There are these little tabs on the back where these attach the way they're supposed to when you're using them the way it's supposed to be used. But I got here, just kind of over there. And so I got a scroll saw. I'm going to cut these out and then hit it with the sander. I've got a bench sander to kind of smooth out the edges. Make that flat. This is still a little bit too big. I was kind of testing it in there to see how it fits. Where I think I'm at with it next is I'm going to need to, let's see here, I'm going to need to start out here and cut holes in the hood. So right here I got to put the what is it, the template on. No, actually, I'm going to cover it in painter's tape, put the template on there, trace it, and then pull the template off, and hit it with the angle grinder, just really lightly, like kissing it just kind of gently all around, taking my time to where I got that hole. The reason for that, and hopefully I won't go and explain it again like on another day when I get back to this, but I'll just edit that out, whatever, is I don't want to burn it and have a heat signature and melt the paint any. And then the tape on there, I'm hoping is going to keep it from like chipping around, and so we'll have to see how that goes. But theoretically should work okay without messing this up. And then the bracket I'm building, I can panel bond on the back, and that'll, you know, I won't have heat from welding burning the paint. Because, you know, this paint, it's old, it needs new paint job. Probably looks better on camera because I waxed it the other day, but, you know, I'm going to repaint this in the next, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, after I get the Spit 6 on the road. So anyhow, trying to protect the paint as best I can, knowing there's going to be some flaws, but trying not to make it look bad at the same time. So here we go. We'll see. I'm going to go cut out the other grill, and that's probably about where I'm going to get to today, and then I'll let you know, guys, see when I'm cutting the holes. And I'll be gluing this, and I got bolts to bolt on the back of that. So, all right, wish me luck. Alright, so here's a quick video update on the LeMans grill bit. I think it's been like maybe 5-6 months since I first started shooting these videos. Engine problems, there aren't other videos, whatever, but here's what I got. So this is going to go on the inside of the car. I got these here, and what I did is I marked with paint pen where I want the screws to go. Scribe some lines, because now I'm going to have to, clean that off so I can get some weld to stick there. And I'm going to weld these on here. Yes, they're too long. That gives me something to hold on to. I'm going to cut them to the right length once I get them on there. And so here are the brackets that are going to hold this down. So you can see we'll have one over here squeezing against there, and one over here squeezing against there. So that should hold down. Gave it some little bend for strength. Drilled hole, everything fits with that. I got 4 of these. They're not all exactly the same and perfect. So they're not going to be seen. But I'm going to finish drilling holes, paint these, those will be done, and then I'm going to weld these to here, and that's my goal for today. If I can get that, sweetness, maybe cut these a little bit lower, try to get these as one whole unit, and then next goes to taking those apart, mounting these on the inside of the hood. So there is my update. Alright, so road noise. Today is going to be the day I'm going to cut a hole in this thing and make it happen. So probably going to be a bunch of short videos I'll stitch together, but let me show you what I got. So single is supposed to turn. There it is. Alright, so I'm going to do the passenger side first. Here's the driver's side. So here's my template, and I got some refrigerator magnets. I'll show you what I did over here. Painter's tape. And then, so I outlined everything here, and so I'm just going to go super slow and steady. I got a small cutting disc, one that I've worn down a lot, so I saved those for like the tighter edges. What I'll probably do is just kind of get close, like with these curves, because I don't want to like overdo it. Especially up here is going to be a tight one. So I got the carbide tip. I'm going to put my drill and just kind of eat away till I get to the edge of that. Tape should hopefully protect the paint, what's there, and then I'm going to throw some towels and whatnot around so I don't get sparks on the windshield and things like that. So that's what I'm going to do. Probably going to cut out this side and then put you on a tripod for the other side, so that I can make all my mistakes there, hopefully minimize them the most that I can, and do a better job over there. Second time is always better. So here's what I got so far. So this, after I cut the hole, this will be panel bonded on the inside from there, and then I got my brackets and all the stuff that I made in a video the other weekend. So and I'll show you this panel bond real quick. This is what I'm using, and it looks like over here the curing time is pretty quick. So I'll have like, I don't know, a couple of hours to work with this, and it says I got like maybe 6 minutes setting time. So I'll take the grill off of there, so it's just the frame. I'll show you more in a bit. Yep, so here we go. Alright, so there's, I don't know if it started recording or not, so let me start again. Alright, so there's that. That was the scariest part. Probably saw I was kind of skipping around a little bit. First I just kind of wanted to etch the line just so I had something to guide by, and then also I didn't want to get too much heat into one spot because I didn't want to burn the paint, because you know, the paint job on this thing isn't that great. I'm gonna repaint it, I don't know, in the next 5 years or so after I finish this one. But I still don't want to make it look ugly, so doing the best I can with it. Just being gentle. You saw I came in with a Dremel tool. What I'm gonna do next is, let's see, I'll turn you guys. So, you know, the edges are gnarly, so I'm gonna get in there, file that. I've got the carbide bit on the end of a drill. Come over to show you that side. And so to kind of clean up and kind of get it more the shape I'm looking for. And what I did over here is I clamped the bracket in and scribed a line around it so I knew where it was at. Wire wheel on the drill, clean that up. I'm going to do some more cleaning and then glue and clamp. So that side's good to go. I noticed, because right about there is where I've got the screw for the bracket to hold the grill in place. And it was right up against this support beam bar here. And so I went ahead and took that out, which is like no big deal. And that also allowed me to get in a little bit more with the wire wheel to clean all that up. There are some little imperfections and whatnot, but like I said, you know, it's going to be all right. I'll show you later what I'm going to do to kind of deal with that, to clean it up, to make sure things don't rust. What was I going to say? the thing. Also, really glad I used this tape here, because when I was wire wheeling on the other side, there was some times where it kind of jumped and came around and got the tape, and there's like on the other side just like a little spot there that I'm gonna have to touch up just a bit. Overall, it's looking pretty clean, so I'm happy with it. I love the lines. It's gonna look great when the silver's on there as well too. But what was I gonna say? Things focusing on the wrong stuff. You can see all the way through. Yeah, so highly recommend leaving that tape on there. So you're gonna get in there, carbide bit, file, clean everything up. One of the things I found for me that's very helpful is wait to the very, very last minute to make things perfect. Find all the little tiny things I can do to make it just a little bit better. So like right now, you know, this, I got to clean up some. If I ran my fingers along Alright, so quick check-in on things. So here, I'm getting ready to commit. I cleaned with a kitchen degreaser, get all the grease out of there, then wipe down with water, kind of get any residue gone, and then paint thinner. I think everything's clear. The panel bond should stick well. I got 6 minutes of work time with this stuff, so what I'm gonna do so I don't rush it and make mistakes, I'm gonna do one side, make sure I got it all clamped up, everything's good, I'm happy, fits just right. There's gonna be some fine tuning of here, probably on this piece that's going on here on the inside. Probably making you dizzy. After it's good and set, so that'll be like just really only a few hours, which is wild. So we get this side, get happy with it, get that side, make it happy, and then go inside, have some lunch. All right, so what you just saw was I had a, I'll show you this over here. My angle grinder. I found these adapters for an angle grinder to where I can put a roll lock disc on here, and this is one of these 3M ones that cuts really well. Lasts a long time. You can cut down to smaller sizes. Oh, wrong way. And so what I did, I was evening up here where it didn't match up 100%. So everything's nice and gravy there. And traffic in the background making noise. So what my secret weapon now is a paint pen. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around like here, the outside of this. I think nope, mirror image. Pretend to draw. So I'm going to paint there to cover up the bare metal. And I'm not worried about it looking perfect. There's just like a little bit of squeeze out from the epoxy, which is, you know, to be expected, I suppose. But just, you know, dabbing it with a paint pen. So the metal's protected. There's not like bare metal to rust. Oops, clamps. And then the same thing goes here. So and this is another great thing I keep noticing. I'm so glad I did this with the painter's tape. It keeps being like my safeguard. And so now going to hit this with the paint pen also. And so what that's going to do is, you know, protect the metal. But it's just going to be like this real thin black on the inside, and so it probably shouldn't be very visible at all. Now there is, on the other side, there's a spot where when I was doing the wire wheel, it kind of jumped and pulled and got just a tiny bit of paint on the outside. Actually, come over here and show you what we got. So right here, yeah, like right there. And so, you know, I guess I'll just hit that with the paint pen too. It's just like this tiniest little bit, and that'll help protect it. So I'm gonna do some coloring, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like afterwards. We'll take the tape off. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. Got that support bar back in, everything fits nicely, all the stuff, and I even took the tape off, and I really like how it turned out. And kind of right at certain angles you can see bits of the bracket on the inside. There's some spots where I think the tape picked off a little bit of the red paint. There's a little bit of blue, the original color blue underneath that's showing through, but there's chips all over the whole body already with that, so that's, you know, not too bad. So if you're going to try this at home, here's the things that you may have problems with. You know, it's not going to look beautiful, it's not going to look perfect, so there's that. And then I haven't put the hood down, so let's see what that looks like. Alright, so there it is. Yeah, I think I really like it. Yeah. Should breathe nicer. Colder air over there, fewer, less pressure underneath the bonnet, all the stuff. So, yeah, here's the video. This took, I think, like 6 months in the making. There's all those engine problems I had when rebuilding and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. So, there we have it. Party on.